Alright guys, Mike O'Beer here, also known on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch as MikeDub_23, and on PlayStation Network as MikeDub23. As you can hear, I'm a little stuffy today, but you're just going to have to get over it. Anyway, so I'm joined here by Dice from the Movie Mercs YouTube channel. I'm assuming your voice is able to be shared over chat. I'm gonna check on Twitch.
Oh wow, there we go.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you could set that up, we'll be good to go.
Yep. I got it, I think.
Okay, we'll see. 1 second. And sorry guys, my character just opened up showering on GT. Alright, yeah, you're good. Alright. So let me hop out of the shower. Oh, good gracious. The HUD just came up. There's like people dying and leaving the match. Oh, good lord. Alright. So, Dice.
Yeah.
We have some differing views on whether or not, or I don't know, the video or this stream is called "Are You Sold on Switch?" So let's start with that question because I am, and I'll get into that. But what about you?
After seeing that conference, I definitely am not sold on Switch.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we can go right into it if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we kind of went back and forth on the PlayStation Messages app about
Yeah.
we kind of had a small argument. But yeah, okay. But just for those that were not involved in that conversation, yeah, go ahead and kind of tell them.
So, I mean, first off, I'm not gonna bash the console. That's not what I'm trying to do, because I'm pretty sure the console's gonna be great, but just the way that they promoted it at their conference was very, very not good. There's just a lot of things that they didn't do that I think they should have done. So, when the conference first started, they started very, very strong. Within the first, I want to say 15 minutes, they were already giving us the release date. They were already giving us the price point. And they were already showing just a couple of titles that are going to come out with the game. And that was in like the first 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, they started pretty strong, But then I wanted to see how this console is actually going to be used. I wanted to see what this console is actually going to look like. Because remember, you told me that like Wii U wasn't doing that well in sales and people weren't really loving it as much. I didn't really know that. As far as the Wii U goes and the fan base and the people who bought it, I didn't really know much about that. But when you're trying to restart and you're trying to get, you know, as many people to get on board with your new console as possible, you're going to have to show as much as you can about that console. Now, they showed a bunch of stuff about the hardware, the new things, the things that, like the controller and the fact that you can take it apart and all that stuff, which is cool. But here's the problem. I already knew that back in the fall when you guys announced that you guys are getting a new console. So you telling me stuff that I already know, I mean, you're not going to sell me on that because I already know that. I want to see the things that I don't know. I want to know the specs. Like, I want to know how is this going to put up to the other home consoles? How is this going to put up to the other handheld consoles? You know, what is the cartridge? What is the games going to look like? Is it cartridge based? Is it CD based? Like, they didn't show any of that in their conference, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's a really like limited thing, and people are like, you got to go to your. It wasn't just you saying you got to go to your website. Yeah. It was other people are like, hey, go to their website, you'll see more information. Right. And I'm like, why would I don't want to go to a website for something that I don't want to know about. Right, like, I just got done watching an hour of your of your conference of this console, and I still got to go to your website to find out more stuff about your console.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not gonna. If that's the way that you're gonna market your console, I just don't feel like. I feel like it's dangerous. I can't trust your console right now because it means you're not showing things that you're specifically I don't know proud of.
Yeah. See, and I made the argument with you that I was like, we all know Nintendo is not Apple in terms of like
yeah
explaining certain things and like laying everything out on the table. I mean, even on the website, like there are specs there, but it's not super in-depth specs. Like I didn't find anything that said what the resolution is going to be like when it's actually docked. I'm assuming it's 1080. Like it says what the resolution of the screen is, or what the aspect ratio of the screen is when it's undocked, like when you have it handheld. And that's 1080 by 720. But besides
that's not enough though.
Yeah, it's not enough. I agree.
Yeah.
And also, let's see. It's gonna have. Let's see. I had it up earlier. I actually have it up right now. As I walk into my garage. We've got 32 gigabytes of internal memory, a portion of which is reserved for use by the system. Users can easily expand storage using micro SD cards.
Yeah, but like that's great. That's really cool.
Right.
I'm down with that. Here's my problem. Who said that in the conference?
Nobody.
You
actually.
had all of your
You're right.
That's what I'm saying. You had all of your producers up there. You had all of your directors of Nintendo from across the world showing their faces on that screen, and not one person is going to talk about the hardware of your console.
Yeah, I was surprised about that part. I was surprised.
Yeah.
That they didn't really go into detail about that, because like they didn't say anything what the games would look like.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually knew, or I mean via leaks, that it was going to be cartridge based. I mean,
yeah.
I would highly doubt that they would go like, what was it, the GameCube route, and they had like the really small discs.
Right.
That just doesn't really seem like they would go that route. But for somebody who hasn't been paying attention to like leaks and stuff like that, then they're going to be like, okay, are all the games in the cloud? Like, or do you download them to the console itself? Like, what's going on?
And that's what my problem was. That was my main problem with this. You gave me more information about the console itself than that 1 hour conference that was so hyped. Because the only thing that I saw was their video release announcement about the NX and all that it can do. You can take out the controller; it can be a portable thing, which is fine. You know, Nintendo, they're the console that wants to be different. That's fine. I respect that. You can go ahead and do that. But as a console itself, I still need to know things about it. Like, I was thinking this was going to be like the PlayStation 4 release conference, where they talked about like everything that has to do with the console,
different things like that.
Yeah, they talked about that. They talked about how much power it took. They talk about that they're still using Blu-rays. They're still doing all of this stuff in comparison to the PS3. And the difference, and the thing is like they're going from PS3 to PS4, so they're not changing a ton of stuff while still changing things that we may want to know or may not want to know. But right. Nintendo, you're switching your entire brand.
No pun intended.
You're stopping. A pun completely intended, not
right.
You're stopping your Wii U. You're discontinuing it completely, and you're like starting fresh again. Here's the NX, and I'm like, cool, totally fine. What can it do? Well, it has the portable capability. Cool, I already know that. What else can it do? Well, you can get a neon blue and a neon blue controller. That's awesome. I love that. What can you do? Here are the games for it. Awesome. These games look great. Mario Odyssey looks incredible. Xenoblade 2 looks great. Splatoon 2, I'm excited for that. What can this console do? And they didn't even go into the UI. They didn't even go to... They said this is what comes in the console, which I was surprised that they did that. How are you going to tell me that it comes with HDMI, but you're not going to tell me the resolution of what the screen is going to look like when it's docked outside?
Yeah.
You're going to say that this thing is perfect for parties? Okay, but how is it going to look like when I'm doing split-screen Mario Kart? How is it going to look like when I'm playing, what's that game called? 1-2 Switch? How's that game going to look like? How does...
And ARMS, you know.
Yeah, and ARMS and all
Which,
that.
first off,
and all that jazz.
just really quick, I do not like that. Like, I understand it, and like I guess it's grown on me some because it's so simple.
ARMS?
But when I first heard that name, like this game looks so intense, and just ARMS.
Bro.
I was like, I laughed when I saw the name. I laughed out loud. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not real.
Like, the title didn't even faze me. I was just looking at that in comparison to the other launch title, and I was like, this game is so much better. This game is...
Oh, the 1-2 Switch. Yeah, because 1-2 Switch was like the first thing they showed. And it was like, at first I was like, oh, okay. And then...
I saw that... Wow.
I mean, it was a really cheesy commercial. I mean...
Yeah.
Or a cheesy ad. At the same time, like, once they said that there is no need for a screen, it was just kind of like a social interaction type thing. I was like, that's a pretty cool idea, because, I mean, it's you don't need to take the screen with you.
You know what would have made that...
I mean, you have to, because it's, like, part of the console, but, you know.
You know what would have made that better?
What?
You know what would have made this entire conference better? One live demonstration. There wasn't one, bro.
That's true.
There wasn't
That's true.
one live demonstration.
I mean, but today they did have live demonstrations. They had the stream, but obviously last night a lot of people were tuned in because they were seeing like it on display for the first time. A lot of people aren't going to show up. Like they had like 120,000 viewers on Twitch last night, and then this morning they had like the most I saw was like 31,000 viewers. Which is still a lot, but it's not like that's like a third, like less than a third. It's like 25% of what they had last night.
Bruh, nobody talked about that. Nobody was like, "Hey, we're gonna," bruh. I'm telling you, I wasn't there to watch a stream, to watch a 1 hour a release video, to go to another screen to see how these games work. Like, nah, bruh. You gotta impress me from the get-go. Because you stopped your Wii, and people who are Wii owners were pissed either at the Wii or at the fact that you stopped making games for the Wii.
Right.
So you're gonna have to come in guns
because the Wii did extremely well.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just here's the Wii U, which was nice because the Wii was outdated. It was like 480p graphics. Like it dated very quickly, but still.
And the Wii U, their lifespan was pretty short-lived, and so you coming at us with this Switch, and I'm like, okay, Nintendo, you really I haven't bought a system since the Wii, and even when I had the Wii, I only had like 3 games for it, so you're gonna have to really impress me because I have a 360, I have a PS3, I have a PS4. I didn't want to get an Xbox One because there wasn't really any titles that I wanted on it. I didn't want a Wii U for the same reason. There wasn't a whole lot of titles that I wanted on it. You're going to have to impress me with this Switch.
Oh, just really quick.
1 hour conference.
We just got joined by Peacemaker from Movie Mercs. I don't know if your voice is like, can it be shared? I'm going to check the stream and make sure.
Yeah.
Looking at Dice's and it's not showing any sound. Is he talking?
He was. He's checking the stream.
I'm not talking right now. I mean, I wasn't. David, or pardon me.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, Dice, he turned his on. If you
Allow
know.
your voice to share.
Yeah.
All right, that should work now.
Okay, cool.
All right.
And if you can turn your mic up a little bit, you'll be good to go.
Okay. Let's see.
Just go to devices. I'm currently off-roading with a sports car on GTA.
Well, nice.
Yes. All right, go ahead. Continue with what you're saying about the
What I was
library.
saying was like I didn't want to get the Wii U because of the library games, so they had to really impress me in every way, shape, or form. Not just because of the games that they came out, but like you're gonna have to show me, like, what is there in this console that you can bring for me. They showed the hardware, they showed the controller, they showed what the controller can do. They had this long video representation of how the controller can feel like having a glass with ice in it. I'm like, bruh, what
I
about
thought that
the
was
console
cool.
over there?
Okay.
No, it's totally cool. It's fine, but it's
So is
like
it
there's a
temperature
console on the
controlled, or-
table. No. It's like motion like I don't know.
It's called like HD motion or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh.
and whatever it is, they hype that up way too much. I want to see what the console looks like when you turn it on, and what the games look like when you put them in. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah,
I
for
wanted to
sure.
see like the capabilities of the console. How far can you push this console? It's not enough to show games that can be run on Unreal Engine 4. Like that's that game that they announced? Shin Megami
Skyrim?
Tensei.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because that game's on Unreal Engine 4, which is an engine that like has to have high graphic capabilities. But like,
Right.
how far are you willing to push that? So I want to see stuff like that in your conference. Show me gameplay.
Here's
Show me
my-
actual.
Here's a slight rebuttal to that. Nintendo has never been about like high graphic or like high graphical fidelity. Like they've never really been into that. So I don't see why they would start now. Like I'm not really surprised. I mean, I understand that's kind of what you wanted to see. But I never really thought like, and a lot of the people that I've watched videos of talking about the Switch, like I feel like that's understood that Nintendo, that's not really the route they ever go. So it would be kind of a surprise to do it now. At least they're like the Wii U was like their break into HD content, like,
Yeah.
and that was
And-
extremely needed. But
Sure.
as of
Wanted to mention that I am a Wii U owner,
right,
and I wanted to talk about how it feels like a slap across the face that Nintendo abruptly ended the console life of the Wii U and all the production of the games that were supposed to come out, or that could have come out but didn't have any production plans or anything yet.
Sure.
So they halted that life of the Wii U, and then I'm like, oh great, well, kind of stinks that I spent all this money on this thing, and
Right.
kind of not really promised to get anything else on it other than what's already out.
right.
And then also, I feel like I can't trust Nintendo right now, because I'm like, see, the last time I saw some potential in the Wii U, I said it's not a perfect console. I do not like the gamepad. I still don't like the gamepad. But I saw something there, and I bought it, and I have a small collection of games on it that I really love, and and I feel like since they moved away from that real quick to jump on to the next thing and kind of left that one in the dust, it kind of feels like, hey, so if this one doesn't sell as well as you want, are you gonna abandon it in 2 years and jump on to the next big thing? Like, that's not cool.
I feel you.
And also,
Let me
I feel like-
before you move on to the next thing,
Okay.
just to have a little bit of balance, because I mean
Yeah.
it's been mostly Dice just talking about
It's been a lot of anger.
yeah. Okay,
hey, I took
so
some notes.
okay, good.
I
And
have
we'll
some
get to
notes.
those. So for me, and I was talking to Dice about this earlier, I haven't been this excited for a Nintendo anything since my original Game Boy, and I had Pokemon Blue. Like, I don't get excited for Nintendo stuff, like, ever. I didn't care about the DS. I mean, the Wii was cool. I never owned one. My dad, my stepmom, and my little sister did. I have friends who have the Wii. I have friends who have the Wii U. but I never. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get up. I don't get hyped up for Nintendo stuff. So when they,
So Mike, though, let
and,
me ask you, why are you excited about the Switch? What is
okay,
there
so
that's exciting you?
for me, okay, remember when the trailer came out?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was okay, and I'd seen like mock-ups or whatnot of what it would kind of look like, and they weren't really close to that. I heard it was going to be portable. When I saw what it could do in terms of portability, I was like, okay, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
This isn't really anything. I mean, it's different than having a PSP or having a PS Vita because, and I'm totally about to wreck my car. It's different because, and I've had a PSP before and I loved it, but
I have
it's
both a PSP and a Vita.
yeah. So it's different because those
Those are
those
portable
platforms.
games. They're not home. They're
Yeah,
not home quality games like home console quality games usually.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
they're
they're
exceptions,
kind
but the
of they're
Vita was the
lesser
closest.
ports.
The Vita is an exception because you get like you can play the entirety of Final Fantasy X on your PSP Vita on
Right.
your PS Vita. That is mind blowing to me because whenever I was a kid, I was like, if I could play play a PS2 game on the go, that'd be so awesome.
Exactly,
So
and also
we
like
got there.
some of the games on PlayStation, like you could, or on PS4, you could take with you, or continue playing them on the Vita, but it wasn't
Yeah, the
a
crossplay,
ton of games. Yeah,
crossplay and cross save.
so
There's a
it's
handful of them.
so it's different now because like initially when I saw that trailer, I was like, okay, this is a game changer. Like this isn't something that we've seen before.
And something to add to that is it's not two different consoles that you're having to purchase.
one.
They're bundling it together, and it's a hybrid, in concept, a hybrid console.
Exactly.
Yeah, here's my thing. It's a great
Concept.
idea, and
Well,
I
wait,
think
hold on to
it's
that.
gonna do. Okay.
Hold on to that. Sorry, I didn't know where you were
Go
going,
ahead,
so I
go
have
ahead.
to tell you to hold on to it. So,
No.
all right, so that's where I was initially. I was like, okay, we've got this, and then I was like, okay, my big thing was Nintendo games. They have a stigma behind them, like they have a certain art style, like they have a certain direction that they go, and I've never really been down with it, except for like some Smash, some of the Zelda games, which I never owned a Nintendo console, so I never got to play them in their entirety. And different things like that. And I don't know, it just seems kind of, in terms of before Nintendo came out with this, I looked at Nintendo as kiddish, I guess you could say. Which is unfair to a lot of developers and a lot of games that have come out for like DS and the Wii and Wii U. But I mean, when they try,
Even the GameCube, you have
Yeah.
games like exclusive titles like Eternal Darkness, and
exactly.
that's
But when
farthest
you
from a
spend
kid's
so
game.
much, you spend so much marketing
and-
on trying to get families to buy it, like with the
Yeah.
Wii, that it kind of
I
loses
agree.
like its appeal to hardcore gamers, which I'm
I
not.
do think up until now they have targeted a younger demographic, and
Right.
I do believe from what I've seen thus far that Nintendo is trying to target an older audience
And I
have
completely
those, like,
agree.
Dark Souls and games like that, to appeal to us instead of us 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
I agree. They're trying to go after the people who grew up with them rather than
So that is one thing I
find
like
a
about it.
new like audience, because kids don't like, a lot of kids don't care about Nintendo these days. Like young kids,
they're
they're playing
playing Call of
PlayStation, they're
Duty
playing
and
Xbox. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that ship has somewhat sailed. If a kid has a choice in what console their parents buy for them, they're not going to choose a Wii U over a PlayStation 4, like, or an Xbox One. But with that said, like seeing that initial advertisement, the portability. Well, first off, it opens up with the guy sitting on his couch, and then he picks it up and he leaves. And then you see the guys playing 2K on it, and you see Skyrim on it. You're like, wait, did I just see Skyrim? on a Nintendo console, like even though it's a remastered port and it's not like it's a good remaster, it's not like a great one. It's not a remake like we were talking about earlier with what Square is doing with Final Fantasy VII.
Finally,
But it still looks good, and it takes some power to run it. So I was like, okay, this is looking really good, and that was my big thing, is Nintendo gonna have third-party support. Then they came out with the graphic, and it said, and it had like all the people, or all the developers and stuff who were pretty much aligned with the Switch, and it was a long list, and it looked really impressive.
Yeah.
You had some of the people who they've been aligned with for a while, like Sega and Square, and then you had some other ones like Bethesda and some others. Yeah, exactly. And I was really pleased to see that. So then, I mean, they started talking about. Obviously, we saw Skyrim in there, and I was like, okay, if it can run Skyrim, I don't even really play 2K anymore, but I was like, if it can run 2K. And they're actually allowing the Switch to have them in an advertisement. That means that that's like a major third party. So that made me stop, and I was like, okay, this is the real deal. So coming into last night, I was like, let's freaking get it. Like, let's go. I want to see what this thing has to offer. I want to see the games that are going to come out for it. Kind of like David, kind of like the expectations you had, except I think I wanted less out of it in terms of like hardware. Like I just want to know, is it going to be 1080p?
Is it going to be up to par with the consoles that are on right now?
Exactly, and you want it to be, but it's like I'll understand. Like if it's underclocked, like if it's not a full 1080. Like, is that going to be disappointing? Yes, I'm a film person. Like, I'm all about graphical fidelity and, like, having a good picture or a great picture. But it's like, at the end of the day, Nintendo is about gameplay. Like, they've never been about that. So if the game plays well, then I'm going to be happy, and I can take it on the go with me. So from what I saw last night, I mean, and we'll get into some of those games a little later. But
so so far your major positive aspects of the Wii U, I mean the Switch, is third-party support.
When I saw the Wii U, I mean Switch, third party is big for me. I was like,
and portability.
Yeah, and I mean portability has never even really been that big of a deal for me. But also like I don't know, just having that available is really cool to me. Sorry, I'm getting chased by cops, so I'm trying to keep my train of thought. Okay. But yeah. So also, I don't know. I was impressed by what I saw last night. I mean, seeing the Mario title that they announced looked really good.
The Mario title looks intriguing to me. I'm in a boat right now where I feel hurt by Nintendo. I feel like they slapped me in the head, you know, because the whole
I know what I was gonna say.
Wii U thing, and
for sure, and that's valid.
I've had quite a few concerns, and then after doing some research on the conference and everything, and I just even had more concerns, and honestly, I was completely like turned off, and I was actually a bit upset, and I was sending Dice text messages and been like, they ended the Wii U's life cycle to replace it with its retarded cousin. You know, I was pretty upset about it, and but I mean, I even took down some valid points, and we can get into them whenever. But like, I guess we're on the topic of talking about what's positive about it. Yeah. I did want to see Nintendo up to par with other competitors, you know, like PS4, Xbox One. And it doesn't look like we're going to get that, but we're going to get somewhere close to it, which is definitely a big step in the right direction.
Especially for Nintendo, that's a big thing, because
and like you said, they've
always been under
games are being exactly, and the games are being aimed at a more mature audience, and that's cool and great too. But I'll tell you, like, as far as games go, if we're not talking about the Switch right now, we're talking about its games. I am very concerned because not only are we getting games that are already out on other consoles like Dark Souls 3 and or I don't even know if I saw that or not, the Dark Souls thing, but I thought
I
I
don't
did.
think that was confirmed, but maybe it is. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, there was Skyrim. There was
Yeah,
ton
we
of
keep
stuff
on
that they
getting
showed.
these games that are already available on other consoles, and I'm like, okay, you're trying to catch up, and that's good and well and everything, but this is what irks me the worst is that they're gonna go ahead and re-release Wii U games onto the Switch as like a deluxe package or something, just like Mario Kart 8. It's gonna be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That
Yeah.
upsets me because I'm like, I wanted a new Mario Kart game. I was a loyal Nintendo fan, and I bought the Wii U, and I bought Mario Kart 8. And I own that, and I play it. Now I'm like,
pretty
well,
sure
you don't get a new one.
I'm pretty sure they said if you have the game on Wii U, then you'll be able to get it on the Switch for free. Don't quote me on that.
Is that what
I'm
makes it
pretty
deluxe?
sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they've added some stuff to it.
Yeah, they added, I think, from what I've heard, a track and then like new characters or something.
Yeah,
but
like they've got some of the
that's not enough for
Splatoon
me to buy the same
characters.
game.
And
What about
different
the
things
people
like
that already own that? They're like, too bad
True.
you don't get
Well,
a new one.
Here's what I think the Wii U does right. I think or at least what the conference did right.
Are you talking about the Switch or the Wii U?
The Switch. This is what the Switch did right. Their announcements, their game announcements, I thought were actually pretty good.
I did see a
Agreed.
couple games that raised my eyebrow, but
The fact, I mean, I think Super Mario Odyssey looks very interesting.
Yeah, I was
I can't wait to see
definitely
more
surprised to
information
see him
about
in the
that
real
game.
world.
I think Splatoon's going to do really well. Everybody loved the first one. The second one looks good. They showed
so for now
differences
you have to
between
have,
the
you have
first
to have a
two.
paid membership to play that game.
Oh, we gonna get into that too. But
Yeah, and we can talk about that, and I have some things to say about that aren't.
but I
really
think
negative.
I mean they released the information about Zelda. They finally gave us a release date, which is coming up on launch, which is
Yeah,
surprising, but not
fantastic.
surprising.
I
at the
did
same
not think that
time.
was going to happen.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in right quick. If that game, it was promised on the Wii U. If that game does not happen on the Wii U,
Oh, it's
and they
going to
just
happen.
release it
Oh, it's gonna happen
on the Switch, I will never buy another Nintendo console.
That's justified. Like, but they didn't confirm or not confirm. They didn't say when it's coming out for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Right.
That I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, that's the only thing that they didn't really say about it. But I don't think the Wii U port is coming the same day.
I would, just for principle alone, not be purchasing the Switch if that were to happen. Because I'd be like, no, I'm not playing. I'm not gonna buy that. Because that's even more insult to injury is what I would call it. Because people like myself do not feel very good right now because the whole Wii U fiasco, and I do think Nintendo as a company has been making some very strange decisions, but I'm sure we'll get into that. I'm getting excited to talk about my notes that I took down.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say before we get into that. Like,
Okay.
and this is still along a positive note, I suppose, but I was pretty sold on PlayStation VR. Like, as you guys know, like I was huge on No Man's Sky. Like, I was probably never as hyped for a game as I was for No Man's Sky, like ever. So
We're so high.
for it to like drop down like it did, kind of was sad. But like, I said that if PlayStation VR, if they had made a port for, or somehow I could play No Man's Sky in VR, I was like, I'm sold. I'm getting PlayStation VR. Like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I was pretty sold on PlayStation VR. I was obviously waiting for the No Man's Sky thing, but I was pretty convinced that within the next couple of months I was going to get one. Until I saw the Switch, I was like, I'm not doing PlayStation VR anymore. Like, like I'm gonna get the Switch. Like, I know that for sure because I don't have a Wii U. I don't have any Nintendo anything right now. So, and just the intrigue of being able to take it with me. It just offers me something that my PlayStation doesn't really offer me. Obviously, I'm gonna do my more hardcore gaming on the PlayStation, but
And
I can't miss
to
Zelda.
go
like,
back to
Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. To go back to talking about bringing that with you, that whole like people could argue the Vita has remote play for PS4, and I would have a counter argument saying that is borderline unrealistic to use because the connection has to be pretty amazing in order for you to actually play the game in the way it was supposed to be
it's like
played.
using SharePlay
That's
on the
actually
PS4.
playable.
I mean,
Yeah.
you need.
And there's missing buttons too. I mean, I tried to
Right.
play PS4 games on my Vita, and I was going, "Oh well, there's missing buttons here." And oh, you got to touch the screen. Okay, so it's really awkward.
Right.
But, so
But,
limited
I mean-
functionality. Some games work great with it, but I mean, I would like to see that portability aspect. But for me personally, I will never use it because I only game exclusively in my game room. That's
I
like
feel
my
you.
that's my solace. That's where
I
I
also
go.
That's where I raise a flag with them. Well, that's one of the flags I raise when it comes to them going with third-party developers. Is that you're selling a portable console. I mean, it's a home console too, but like you're selling the portability of
yeah.
it. So
Have we
if
gotten
you
into
want
the
me to
battery life
play,
yet?
if you
not
want me
yet.
to
We will
play
soon.
if you want me to play 2K, if you want me to play Skyrim on portable, the way that Bethesda wants you to play it on PC or on Xbox or on PlayStation, like you're gonna have to wow me, or you're gonna have to make it some sort of convenience factor to make me want to do that.
Right.
Other than that, it's not leaving my house.
Right.
Like, sorry.
See, I think for me, just because I could do it, I would. Like, obviously, I would play most of it at my house. Like, I'm not gonna like just take it out on the go just because. Like,
Right.
hey,
I don't know
I'm
where
leaving
I
my
could
house
take
to
it.
do it. But it's like if I'm going to work and I have like a decent lunch break, like 45 minutes an hour, and I don't have a ton to do, and it's in my bag, I'm gonna play it. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna just like go downtown Austin and then like just have my Switch in my hand and just be walking around playing it, just to be like, hell yeah, I'm doing this. Like, no,
Right.
that's not really. That wouldn't really make any sense to me. It's gonna be like if I have somewhere to store it, and then I'm gonna take it out at a certain point. Say like they showed in the ad on a flight, which would be perfect. And those, which I guess we can go. I mean, we're talking about the portability. We can go into the battery life, which
2 to 6 hours.
yeah, like
The website said 3.
yeah,
So I just
with
don't-
Zelda,
bro, I can't-
they said with games like Zelda, it'll be around 3 hours. However, you can charge it while you're playing. It has the USB-C slot.
freaking I would hope so.
So that's nice. I mean, obviously, I don't know. It's neither here nor there. It depends on who you ask. Like, if you want to have like a portable charger with you, which I mean, there's gonna be, I mean, say just a standard USB-C charger, or I mean,
Here's
there's
what I think
definitely
they're
gonna
gonna
be
do for
people
that.
that have accessories that you can put onto it that will charge it
Yeah, they're
while
gonna.
it's
They're
playing.
probably gonna create an officially licensed Nintendo accessory. That's like a backpack thing you wear that has solar panels on it, and you have to crawl around like a turtle in the middle of the street to collect solar rays to get enough energy to play your game. That's probably what they're gonna end up doing. Yeah, crawl
I'm
around
gonna
the dirt with
take
the
a shot in
energy.
the dark and say that they aren't gonna do that. They're gonna
I
have
don't
like
think they're gonna do that
a
either,
battery thing.
but-
They're gonna have interchangeable batteries for sure. They're gonna have. Well, they've said I'm pretty sure they've confirmed they're gonna have interchangeable batteries, and obviously they're rechargeable. And also, I think there's gonna be like little packs, kind of like a Mophie, that you stick on it where you would charge it, and it's just gonna like continuously charge your Switch while
But
you're
why
playing.
didn't they say that at the conference?
Well,
why
because
did they say that at
that's
the
not-
press conference, Micah?
Did
Dude,
they talk about
that conference-
third-party stuff?
Cause more questions than anything.
No,
See-
but it's a brand new console.
No,
You know
I
what
understand,
mean?
but it's like you have to remember though, like most developers, like or Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, like they're not talking about any third-party accessories at all. Like, I don't think Nintendo's gonna make that charging pack. I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be licensed, but it'll be third party.
But okay, they talked about the battery life. They said it was going to be 2 to 6 hours, right? Websites
Right.
say it's going to be 3.
Yeah, and like
I guess it's
lower
depending on
games,
the type of game.
yeah, because
Right.
if it has higher graphical fidelity, then it's gonna be around
Yeah,
3
like-
hours.
If I'm playing Super Mario Brothers 3 on there, I know it's going to last 5 to 6 hours.
And they said it
If
could
I'm
go 6
playing-
hours plus. Like it could. There are some games where
Yeah.
you can play it for 7-8 hours.
But did they say that there was going to be changeable batteries? Like the batteries can be changed.
I didn't hear
I
that
don't remember
at
seeing-
the event, but I'm pretty sure that's like.
To me, that's a
I'm
step
pretty
back.
sure I
If you're
heard
gonna
that
have
for
a-
Elite.
If you're gonna have interchangeable batteries, that's taking it back to like the PSP era. And even then, you had a rechargeable battery pack or whatever. But
Well, I don't think that's a
that's
bad thing though, especially for something that's so high powered. When you compare it to things like the DS or the PSP or even the PS
To me,
Vita,
I'm comparing it to
me,
the
that's-
Wii U gamepad because that battery life was,
It was trash.
unbelievable.
wait, was it
No,
was it good?
No, it wasn't trash. It was good. It was
Really?
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
but,
Wii U gamepad.
The gamepad on the
but
Wii U.
also,
it lasted-
but also, you weren't playing like it was close to the it was close to the console itself. This is actually
I
the
have
console.
frustrations. I have my frustrations with the Wii U and the gamepad. I don't like it. I don't like the gamepad. I feel like
See,
that's
I'm
a
not-
gimmick. But
Yeah, I don't think I
Um,
like the gamepad that much on the Wii U either.
But
I'll
that
tell you what,
battery
It was
life
cool.
battery life is not bad on that thing though,
Yeah.
and it makes sense. I mean, for what it is, it makes sense to have it be like that. You can. I leave mine plugged in all the time and just turn on my power strip whenever the battery's going low. But what I was saying earlier about the whole portability thing and the battery life and all those, I said it again. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. To me, it's a big gimmick. I don't want any gimmicks. That's why I wanted the optimal system that Nintendo could have released would have been something similar to a GameCube 2, where they would just be on par with their competitors and have no gimmicks and just have an amazing console and then focus on an amazing library.
And that's what I thought
That
they were
would've been
going to
great.
do in this conference. I really thought they were going to do that, especially when they were announcing their AAA or their third-party developers or the AAA developers
Instead,
that are
we
going to be a
saw-
part of this thing. But they didn't show us
Instead-
any specs that had to do with the console, and that's when I was scratching my head like, wait a minute. What about this console that you guys are putting out? I know the portability's there, and I know
Not
it's going to
only-
be like you showed that back in what, November?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so they showed
Not
that back
only
in
did they-
November. I already know that's there, but like I need to know what can this console do if you're going to make it, if you're going to say, hey, these are the AAA companies that are going to be with us throughout the Switch's lifespan. I got to be like, okay, can it handle what the Xbox can do? Or
Yeah.
how's it going to look in comparison? How's the game going to play? There wasn't one live demo in that conference, and I think that was the biggest thing that really got me.
Hey, Dice,
But
let
I
me
don't
add to
know.
that.
Okay.
Not only did they not only did they leave us in the dark, they left us in the dark on a lot of things, and that's been really getting under my skin lately, because Nintendo's been just keeping everybody far away from any answers, no answers to anything, just trying to generate hype about their thing, and try to get the thing everybody's buzzing and talking about. Oh, the Nintendo NX, now it's a Switch. Oh, did you see that Switch? Okay. You see that trailer? Okay.
I don't
get
think
everybody
that they're
buzzing and
building the
talking, but
hype.
they're
I
not.
think they just released. Sorry to interrupt. I
Nah,
think, in my opinion,
think
I
that
feel
they're
like people just
planning.
like are gonna be hyped because, first off,
They're not
Nintendo's
giving
doing
us
something
answers. We want
new.
straight answers.
Second, is that I mean, I think it's actually a cool idea. Like David, yeah, David, whatever. Dice.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said earlier when we were chatting back and forth on PlayStation Message app that they released a console that nobody asked for. I agree that nobody asked for this in terms of like portability. I think a lot of people wanted something different from the Wii U
I mean,
because
since like they announced the Wii Motion Plus, that's when I was asking for another console. So yeah, I was asking for a console, but I wasn't asking for a Switch.
I don't think the Wii, like, I think the Wii U, I don't know. If they didn't make the Wii U, the Wii would have just been, like, horrifically outdated.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
it's like they needed the Wii U, but they didn't need the Wii U. Like, they needed...
I do like aspects of the Wii U. I do see some
and it's not a bad
aspects in
console.
it. I do think that it has a decent library. It just had so much more potential.
Yeah, but if the Switch was the next thing that came out after the Wii U, nobody's having a problem. I mean, pardon me, if it was the thing that came out after the Wii,
after the Wii.
like, then I don't think anybody's having a problem with it. Like,
so not only did they leave us in the dark and leave us with more questions, but also we are aware that Nintendo has had some issues in the past, and they are having problems right now, and even they admit they have problems in terms of sales and everything. That's why they quit production of the Wii U, because it wasn't selling.
Yeah, because it was horrible.
They have all sorts of issues with it.
The Wii sold fantastically.
My biggest problem.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
here's my biggest problem. Not only did they leave us in the dark, this is what's straight up upsetting to me, is they resulted back to their old problems and added new ones to it.
What do you mean?
And this goes. Okay, I'll elaborate. Motion controls. It's a gimmick. We're done with it. Stop doing motion controls. And here we go. I see that today.
Hold on,
like,
keep it here. All right, motion control. I think yes for the Wii. Like, it was a gimmick, but it worked because of what the Wii was, and like
it worked for the
that
Wii
was
because
the main controller.
that was the trend.
But also,
it was new. Yeah,
but also,
you
have to remember, like, there's motion in the Xbox controller. There's motion in the PlayStation controller. They're like more traditional gamepads, but they have motion. There are games that incorporate that. But also,
right,
like, you don't have to use, like, even in Zelda, like, you're not gonna have to. I think they were saying the controllers can do that. They're not going to necessarily require it. There are going to be certain things in the games where you use it, but it's
from
also...
From a business standpoint, it was unwise for them to show that, because what's that going to do? It's going to make people, oh, that's just another Wii, that's a Wii U, or what?
But the thing is, though...
It's going to make people think of the past.
But you have to remember, though, when you look at that technology, there's a reason why those controllers... for 2 controllers is worth like $70 or $80 because there's so much more in it. It's much more than like the Wiimotes. Those were motion controllers, but those are like so basic. Like, and considering what these things can do, and I mean they're motion, but they double as singular controllers themselves. Like, when you're playing by yourself, it's the left side. And I don't like, I understand why they divided it up to, like, when it's multiplayer, you can hand your friend like the right side of the controller, and that can be their controller. I think that's a little small. I have big hands. But
too small.
Not only is that small, but all snapped together.
It's still innovative.
Did you see that small Asian man? The small Asian man was holding the controller in the palm of his hand, and it was no bigger than the size of a Pop-Tart.
When he held up that controller, dude, I'm like, I know my hand is bigger than his.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. I don't know how that controller's going to feel.
Yeah,
and you want me to break that apart and make that a single controller for 2 people? Come, bruh.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to be getting the Switch for multiplayer capabilities. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to get it because of you can play with multiple people. Like, there are going to be families that get it because they have multiple kids. But obviously, for a kid, that's not really going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I think also, and like they're going to have other controllers. Like,
they're going to have a Pro controller, but they're going to make you pay for it. It should be
the Pro controller
at this point in time.
Like the Pro controller on the Wii U. Oh man, that Pro controller is amazing.
I don't think any Pro controller is going to ever be bundled, even though it probably should.
On the Wii U is so good. It feels so comfortable.
Oh yeah, it's really good controller.
It has, get this, an 80-hour battery life.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm not exaggerating.
I think
it is great.
I think this Pro controller looks pretty good. I understand about the bundling, but you also have to remember that they had to try to. Obviously, we're not really happy about the 300 mark. Everybody assumed it was going to be like 250 ish.
Well, if it was 250, then at that point.
I didn't mind the 300 mark until the end of the conference where nothing was answered. And I was
I don't think it's as tough a pill to swallow when I think about it now, because it's like, say they did add the Pro Controller, then they have to keep it at a certain price point, otherwise they're going to be competing directly with PlayStation and Xbox, which maybe that's what some people want, but that's the thing. Nintendo, if you put them up against,
I think this is Nintendo's last console.
I don't. I think it's their last one for a while. I think it's probably going to be
I think this
6,
is their last,
7,
their
8
last
years.
home console.
But going back on this point, if they're competing with Xbox, if they're competing with Xbox and PlayStation, they're not going to win, because the PS Pro just came out. The Project Scorpio is about to come out. It's not going to be close. Like, those consoles are 4K consoles, and so many teraflops. You got over a terabyte of storage. But also, hold on, let me finish real quick. It's like,
go ahead.
If you, I don't think they want to compete with those, but in the case that they do, and they will compete with them on, I mean, they're game consoles, but at the same time, at the same time, if they're going up against them, their calling card and what people are going to see is that it's a portable device that costs $100 less than the top console on the others, and that's going to be a selling point for a lot of people. Not everybody wants to. I mean, yeah, it's only $100, but I mean, $100 can go to a lot of things. Like, and parents don't care that a console is 4K. Like, they're going to try to spend less money for their kids, and also, I mean, not even just parents and whatnot, because, I mean, like we said, they're trying to target our audience. A lot of the people who grew up with Nintendo, not all of those people are hardcore gamers like us. They don't game every day. So they're not going to spend $400 on a console, but if they see Nintendo come out with something that you can play with your friends, you can play it on the go, you can play Zelda, you can play Mario, you can play, I mean, even 1-2 Switch, like I said, I think that's a good title if you're, like, at a party or something like that. I think that could actually be really good.
I didn't see any gameplay, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
I mean, they showed it on the stream today. Obviously, we talked about that earlier, like, not everybody's going to go look at the stream because they wanted to see everything at the press conference, which I think we all agree is a problem. You should have seen some gameplay rather than just trailers.
And like, I don't want people to get it twisted. I'm not trying to bash the console.
They could have done some things better.
Yeah, I'm just having a problem with how they approached trying to sell it. Yeah, you got an hour to sell this console to people that don't know about it, and you have the same hour to show people that want to buy the console why they should be even more hyped about it.
Yeah.
So use that hour wisely, and I just don't think they used it wisely. I really hope the Switch is going to be good.
I think the content was good, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, in comparison to what Microsoft and what Sony's going to do, their game library better be on point.
It's got to be.
That's the only thing that they have to really hold up against what Microsoft and what Sony's going to do in the next 6 months.
Let me jump in here and say something real quick.
Go ahead.
So, Dice is talking about the game library. I was very energetic about the Switch this morning. I was sending text messages to friends, and I was texting back and forth about whatever. So I came to the conclusion. I said I made my statement. I said the only way I'm gonna buy this thing, I'm not gonna buy it for Zelda if it's not coming out on the Wii U. I've already said that, but even if there's like some amazing game, I'm like, oh man, I really want to play that. Oh, it's only available on the Switch. Okay, there needs to be like 10 exclusive, amazing games that I know I'm gonna want, and I'm not paying any more than $250. So if I have to wait 3 or 4 years until like a Black Friday sale, sure, I'll do it. I already said it. I mean, I've been so hurt and disappointed by Nintendo in the past, so What does it show that they're going to make it any different than last time whenever I spent my money on a Wii U and, you know, kind of felt like you got cheated. Felt like I got cheated on it.
After watching this conference, the only thing that, and to my understanding, the only thing that I can rely on is their game library. Because they didn't show anything about their hardware, really, except for their portability, which I'm not turned on to that. So they have to be on point.
But you know, for Nintendo though, you have to remember, like we said, it's all about the games for them.
That's true.
It's never been about the
Yeah, I'm not right. But
no, I'm not saying that's what you're
like,
saying, but I mean, even this point in time, like, it probably should be a little bit about the console, but it's never been about that. So I would be surprised if they started now, but I think their draw for those people who are like, okay, we want something new, is that the portability.
We wanted them to change their strategy.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's just I did. Oh man, I was
wanting them to move away from. I was wanting them to go to like a more mature audience, more serious gaming. You know.
I want them to
see.
Show,
I never thought they were going to do that.
I just wanted them. I don't.
Games.
Nah, man. I don't. That wasn't what I was expecting with this conference.
Even just like technical games that you can play. That's like on the same par as the competitors. That's what I really was excited to see from this.
But the thing is, though, I think they're gonna do that. I mean, you have to remember the people who are. I mean, there are millions of people watching this. They're not gonna focus on like hardcore gamer type of games because let's be real. The majority of the people who own a Wii U or a Wii, or people who know about Nintendo who are casuals, aren't playing those games. All those games they showed last night, besides maybe a couple of the Square games, a casual fan is going to be intrigued by those titles. But also, I think they expected some of their more... I don't know. I feel like they expected people to turn out and watch the stream today as well, which as somebody who's not a PlayStation or who's not a Nintendo fan or like a Nintendo fanboy, I actually watched it because I was I was like, cool, but I'm deep in the game. Like I'm a gamer, so
yeah,
it's a little different. I don't know. It's interesting to see what they did.
Yeah, so, I'm definitely not against. I'm not against them streaming gameplay, but if you're gonna stream gameplay on your brand new system, I want to see live footage from your conference first. And if I want to see more about that game, let me go and check your stream. Like, don't force me to watch how your motion controls work after you told us about your system, even though you barely told me about it. Like, I want to see how it's like right now, and they didn't deliver. So.
Oh shit!
That was my issue with it. I think it's gonna be. I think the Switch is gonna be a good console. I hope it's gonna be a good console.
Yeah.
The way that the game library that they were showing, I was impressed. But
I was too.
They didn't show anything else.
Especially like also go back and look at the end of that conference. They had a montage of about like 30 games. And apparently there's going to be like 30 launch titles. They had that.
Yeah, there was a Sonic game.
And I don't think Sonic's coming out at launch. Like they would have said it.
No.
Sonic is coming later in the year. But
yeah, but the guy
go back and look at those, maybe slow it down a little bit. There are some solid titles in there, man. I mean, they even showed the logo for NBA 2K18.
Yeah, they did.
Which I was really surprised about. I was like, because at first I thought it was 2K17, and then I was like, oh shoot, that's 18. Like, 2K's on board.
I'm pretty sure a lot of those titles are not going to be launch titles.
Okay, so here's my
possibly. Probably not, but they'll come within the first.
Here's my second issue with that.
Yeah.
So if you're announcing these titles, these AAA titles, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna be on the Switch. And you told me that the Switch isn't about really the graphics, rather the gameplay. How are you gonna make somebody
Why
buy
would you
this
get it on the
over
Switch
buying it?
if it
Yeah,
can
why
be
would I
better
buy? Why
on
would I want to
something
buy these titles on the Switch? Was that
Again, you're going back to portability, which, I mean, I don't think that's
Gimmick.
our only selling point. I really don't think it's a gimmick. I think it's a legit,
For me, it is.
like, and I understand. I think it's a legit selling point. It's not like
If you-
Samsung with their
if you
curved
exclusively-
TVs. That Samsung with their curved TVs and the phones with like curved edges to where you can see the time on the slant of the phone. That's a gimmick. And they put their calling card on. I feel like, and you don't really like. You can get some use out of it, but you're not going to get real use out of it. I mean, you could make that
Right.
argument for the Switch, but I think you're going to see a lot of people actually get use out of the Switch being portable. And obviously, that's, I mean, they're going to get it and play it portably because you can, and that's what it's made to do. So,
Limitedly
yeah.
portable.
I mean,
But like,
I don't know, because if you're, I mean, because a Pokemon game is going to come out. I mean,
yeah,
how long do people sit down and play Pokemon on the DS before they sit it down? On average, what, like 3 hours? I mean,
I don't know, man.
4 or 5
People say
hours.
hours.
I remember as a kid,
people say
I would play
hours on the way.
Pokemon on the regular Game Boy for like 4 hours, maybe tops. You've got to think the Pokemon game, Pokemon Stars, I'm pretty sure they're going to call it, on the Switch is going to end up like, it's going to look better. I'm going to assume that thing can probably run about 4 or 5 hours. I mean, and a lot of people.
That's not enough for the portability, you know.
Well, I feel, but the thing is, you're having to remember, like, you're actually hauling you're hauling a console around. So, like, you have to halt those expectations. You can't expect something that's going to come out and it's going to give you 5 to 8 hours, especially when they're not a company like Sony or Microsoft that work with computers and this kind of stuff often. So, but at the same time, like, those are valid points. I mean, people want more.
But Nintendo has been like the number one home, almost number one video game console since the 80s. You know what I mean?
And I mean, the DS
like
is still huge. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
so they know the
people-
portable game.
Well,
When
until
Sony
the
and
Wii U
Microsoft,
era, they got trampled a bit.
Who?
yeah, but I mean the Sony and Microsoft, like when they were coming out, their competition was Nintendo.
Right.
And it wasn't necessarily about graphical capability, which was one of the things that they were really hitting on when they first announced their console, Sony and Microsoft. But it was about, like, man, the Nintendo had games. And that's what they need to bring on this one. Like,
I agree, and I think they
number
will
one thing.
release some original IPs or Switch exclusives that will be legit. Like, even they showed in that little clip at the end with all those games. I don't know. There's something about, like, I saw some of those games and they're available on other consoles, like 2 or 3 of them, 4.
Yeah,
And I was like,
I wasn't impressed.
And I
with
was
that.
like, but I would feel better playing them on the Switch. Like when I saw Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I was like,
yeah, I saw that too.
this would feel dope to play on a Nintendo console. It just feels right. Like it's Japanese. Like I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it's like Square and which is obviously Japanese and stuff like that. I feel like it will work extremely well.
It'll work with
on
Square
those
because
consoles.
that's what they started with.
Exactly.
Final Fantasy started on the Nintendo.
And like Xenoverse
And
and Xenoblade Chronicles, obviously, which is an exclusive, like those types of games just seem like they would be best played on Switch. Maybe it's just like the placebo effect. I think it is, but
I really hope that they can find some games that'll be multi-platform that'll be better on the Switch, because when it comes to multi-platform games, people have a different preference. People
Right.
prefer to play Overwatch on the PC.
exactly.
People prefer to play first-person shooters on the Xbox. You know, everybody has a different preference. So there's got to be something that Nintendo Switch has to give to be like, oh, I'd rather play this game on the Switch than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you. And
but
obviously,
I don't
like
know.
I said,
I
I
think,
feel like PlayStation is still going to be my go-to console.
right.
But like, I mean, I have a lot of friends that have multiple consoles. They've got like a DS, they've
Yeah.
got a Wii U, they've got a PlayStation. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so this for me is like a no-brainer. Am I going to spend $400 on PlayStation VR, or am I going to spend $300 on the Switch and play
Yeah.
games that are going, like, play Zelda, the new one that looks like it could end up being the best one or one of the best Zelda games, or play, pardon me, play like a bullshit title on PSVR. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a no-brainer for me, somebody in my
Yeah.
position.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like those titles, bro, that they announced, that Square Enix RPG. My God, that looked great.
Oh, the one that was like a side-scroller?
Yeah, Project. I forgot what they called
Octo
it.
something, some weird name.
The one that was 16-bit.
Yeah, those looked really good. I was like, the shading
Yeah,
was
no,
dope. I was
bro,
like,
the
this is nice.
these games, man, they look good.
I'm pretty
but
sure they're gonna
I
have
don't know
Shovel Knight
anything
and
about your
stuff,
console.
and also like they're gonna have what you call it. Crap. There's this really big indie 8-bit looking game. Ah, crap. I can't remember. It was one of like the biggest sellers on Steam last year.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that you hit
That's
on. I
going-
think indie games are going to do well on the console.
Oh yeah, and a lot of developers that are like, crap, our stuff's not going to sell on PlayStation or Xbox because that's just not the market. Like a lot of those types of games that are like 8-bit, like stuff like Broforce, those things,
Yeah, right.
games that look like that, those are going to sell well on the Switch because, first off, they're too like high up to be able to play them on the DS, but they're not so high up that like it warrants you playing them on the PlayStation or an Xbox.
Right.
So it'll be
Right, I feel
interesting. Okay, so Justice, you said you had some notes because after that, I think we should probably go into some predictions.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I've already mentioned a little bit of it.
Okay, cool.
I mentioned the motion controls. I was not excited about that. Was not excited about the paid online membership. The
Oh,
price increase because we were predicting it to be 250, but everybody, everybody was wrong. The initial lineup of games, I was not super taken back by, only because a lot of those games you can get on other consoles, and you're like, why wouldn't you just get it on PlayStation? Because it has, it's PlayStation.
yeah. Let's go to
The battery life.
let's go to the online. What do you guys think about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I
think
know
they're
what you're gonna
just-
think, but
they're just following the bus.
They were like, well, PlayStation did it, so
But I think the main reason for them to do this, is because I was thinking about it. I was like, why would they do this when they don't even have like good servers? I feel like their servers have been pretty crappy. But I think they're just going to do this the way that PlayStation's doing it. Their membership can give you 2 free games a month, and those free games will probably be some retro stuff.
I
And
completely
that's what their
agree.
selling point is.
I think that's where it's going. Also, I think nobody's talking about the fact that, like, you don't have to get it. I don't think it's going to be required.
unless you want to play online games like Splatoon 2 and
Right, and different things like that. Which a lot of, I mean, before I get into my point, a lot of those games, or a lot of the games that people play on PlayStation, Switch or Nintendo in general, are not like they're multiplayer games, but a lot of people play those locally.
Right.
So I think
Yeah,
people
I
could be
forgot
fine
about
not
that.
having it.
Their local thing would probably be really cool too.
Yeah.
About
Also,
that's
yeah,
okay.
you can play with up to 8 Switches at once.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
that's insane. You can't do that with a Vita. You can't do that with a DS even. I think DS is
that
1-to-1.
local stuff, that was cool.
Yeah. But back to the online, I think I completely agree. I think they're going to go the route of they're going to give you retro titles, and I think that they're going to have a lot better online services than they did beforehand. I'm pretty sure that I don't think it said last night, but I've heard in some stories that I'm pretty sure it's going to be unified accounts, which they haven't had. I don't think. I think a lot of people have had problems with their accounts and different things like that. So purchases that you've made on like the Wii U or the Wii, I'm pretty sure you're going to have access to that on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which could be good, but Justice, I mean, I feel like I know you kind of have like you feel a little sour about it, but I just want to hear where you're coming.
I'm less of an online gamer. You know, I don't really
True.
play multiplayer games. I'm more of like a story guy or single player guy. You know, that's just the kind of way I play games. But
Agreed.
the whole online multiplayer thing, you know, it's whatever. Nintendo just that was just caught everybody off by surprise because we weren't ready for that. I mean, like, whoa, really?
It didn't really catch me off surprise. It was more to
I
like.
just feel like you gotta
they're
have
actually-
a lot of money to enjoy this console. Because I don't even pay for PlayStation Plus because, you know, I'm like, well, I might as well just play the games I already own here
Right.
and not have to pay a subscription. So, I mean, I'm not even you know, pro PlayStation Plus. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm the
and
wrong
I
guy
mean,
to ask
especially
if
with
you
the
want
problems we have with PlayStation
talk
servers
about.
sometimes, or
Yeah.
for
sure.
I agree. I mean, and like you said, I mean, you're not even paying for PlayStation Plus, so I think you would be fine if you're on the Switch and not paying for the online services.
I wouldn't plan on it.
Yeah, it's like, but also they're giving people like the paid online services don't even come until the fall, so
Yeah.
it's not
Oh,
even
yeah.
immediate.
I'd rather
So
play
they're
local
giving people pretty
multiplayer.
much a trial.
So,
That's
like,
what
I'm not even
Nintendo's
against
made for.
multiplayer.
It's their local stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
the fact
their
that
local
they're
gameplay
having
is
a
great.
paid subscription for online, hopefully that money goes in towards them making better servers.
Exactly.
But I know that a lot of it is just for them to pay off their, you know, free games that they're going to come out with. That's
Right.
what I think they started it for. Which
And
is
I feel like a lot of,
I'm
I
not
mean, I'm hoping that literally every game that they've come out with, at least first party, will be in the virtual console for purchase, available for
who
purchase.
knows? Who
But-
knows?
And I mean, if not, you could make the argument that with these paid subscriptions, that will go towards remaking those so that they can play on the Switch,
Yeah.
which would be amazing. Like,
sure.
I'd love to go back and play, I mean, the original Final Fantasy games, which I've never
Right.
gotten a chance to play. I think that would be incredible.
For sure.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I mean,
Online
I do agree they're
capabilities.
kind of riding the wave because everybody else is doing it. I kind of miss
It
the days when
wasn't a
PlayStation
surprise.
did it. Yeah.
It came out of nowhere, but it didn't surprise me.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if anybody's talking about this. They've completely done away with region locking. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I forgot that was a big plus. That was one of the things they announced.
Yeah, that's
one of the first things they announced.
yeah, that's actually, like, I put that in my notes. That was actually pretty, because they were talking about it, and I was like, why are you talking about it? Because it sounds like you're just about to say they're still going to be region
Yeah.
locked.
Sounds like you're gonna keep doing that, which is a
Yeah.
mistake.
But
Yeah,
then he
Nintendo's
said
been
we're
known
doing
for
away
doing
with
that.
it. Exactly.
I-
So
I'm a person that likes to import some Japanese games. I have a hefty Japanese collection of Saturn games, a couple Dreamcast, and I have even a few Super Famicom games. I like playing games that are not available in the United States that I can be like, oh, I have this now.
true. Or you can buy it from
and Nintendo-
overseas that they don't sell over here.
Exactly, like Puyo Puyo Tetris. I play that on my PS4 all the time. I love that game.
Or you
And it
know,
was not released
Dead or
in the United
Alive.
States.
I'm just kidding. With the bouncing jugs, I apologize. Go ahead.
There's
So that's a plus. That is a plus. I don't hate the idea of this console. I just am sour because
I feel you because
of
you spent the
how
money on the
things
Wii U.
are. Yeah, and also like how
It's a
things
quick
how things
turnaround.
were kind of like too many questions and not enough answers. You know, that's another reason. That's the biggest reason I'm like
I feel you.
really not happy right now with Nintendo.
I think they're going to clarify some stuff. Granted, I mean, like you're making the argument, and you could make the argument that that stuff should have been cleared up last night.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Because I don't think they had a time limit. I mean, they could have like elaborated.
They haven't either. They were just like, we're going to limit it to an hour, which is whatever.
Yeah.
But you still had an hour. Like that time, there's so much time you could have cut off from different things. We talked about those. What are those things called? The Joy whatever.
The Joy-Cons.
Yeah, you talked about the Joy-Cons way too much.
They did talk about the Joy-Cons a lot. I mean, but there's a lot of technology put in those things. So I'm not surprised. Like I was actually surprised that they could do so much.
It's upgraded technology that we've already seen, and it's on something that I feel like 30 to 40% of people weren't even going to use. I don't know. I would rather see how this console looks at home. Yeah. That's my big thing. And
one thing you mentioned earlier, they didn't show the UI, which I was like,
yeah,
okay. They actually showed it today a little on stream for like a couple of seconds, and actually even mentioned, hey, this is like our, this may be like the first look at the UI, and I mean, it looked good. I mean, it was somewhat basic.
Yeah.
From what I saw, I mean, but they weren't like going through menus. It was kind of like the main thing.
But they were showing stuff though. That was what I wanted. I want to see
exactly. I want to actually see the UI. Like that's kind of a big deal for me. If it's trash UI, which I've heard that it's going to be pretty nice because of crap. I can't remember who was working on it, but it was like people who do like the Android tablets that are really successful. Were in charge of the user interface.
Yeah.
So
I just like you're introducing a new console that has to have new UI. Where's it at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel you. And that's a person. They're probably dead.
But yeah. Something else I was gonna say, but I totally forgot.
Was it about the UI?
No, it wasn't about UI.
Okay. All right. And Justice, what was your? Oh, you're talking about the games. I think, and I was like, I had to remind myself these aren't all the games that are coming out. Like these are just the ones they decided to focus on at the press conference. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I've heard there's gonna be like 30 games at launch. Which, if that's the case, that's huge. Like no console comes out with 30 games at launch.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd be happy with 15.
There's been so much like rumors and theories and
there's still stuff that we don't particularly know.
Things that we don't know, things that we haven't seen. Yeah, I just had so many questions that you answered, thankfully, because of the website or because you actually knew about it beforehand. But I don't know. They just could have hit on more things, and that's why it wasn't a sell for me. Like I wasn't hyped for it because I don't.
I'm extremely.
I can't be hyped for something. I can't be hyped for something I don't know about. Just can't.
Makes sense. So okay. Justice, did you have any more notes you wanted to talk about? Okay.
Let's see. I didn't like how they were quiet about the technical capabilities, and we already talked about that. I mean, we can already assume that it's not going to be as strong as PS4 and Xbox One. Let's see. I felt like the mobile hybrid gaming thing was a gimmick for me because I only game in one hybrid,
like taking it on the go.
Mobile, yeah, like that to me. I mean, I can understand functionality for others, but for me, it's a gimmick. I don't like it.
Okay.
I would rather had something not like that, but I mean, I see the functionality in it.
Right.
Let's see the awkward controller design. I know I could just resort to buying the Pro controller that they're probably going to come out with or already have announced. I can just get that But then again, you know, it's
That
another
costs
50
$70.
bucks or something. That's not cool. Yeah, $70. You know, what's going on there? They should have
Yeah.
thought about people like myself. Like, okay, what if you don't want to
No,
snap together a Lego
I
thing
think
and
they
hold it with a little
definitely
tiny hand?
it definitely went high on the accessories. I think they did that because actually now that I'm thinking about it, I think they did that because they
it's a
knew
marketing ploy, bro.
I think the Switch should cost more than it does, to be honest.
I thought it should too. Then I
But
saw the
I
end of the
think
console.
I think they made it $300, excuse me, and are charging higher prices for the controllers and such to make up for that.
I
So
think
I
if you
think
have a
they're going
Wii
to do that
U,
with.
the Switch should be $150.
Because
I mean, you should. I
they
mean, you should be able to trade a Wii U in,
I'm not gonna
and
do
get
that.
a
I never
decent
do
value
that
for it.
because
Yeah, I
I mean
actually enjoy keeping my
always keep my
consoles.
consoles.
Like
Yeah.
I
I'm
have
kind of sour that I ended up selling my PS3.
I still have my my like regular PS1, so like I'm not gonna get rid of my Wii U because there are games that like first of all because I don't even know if I want the Switch. Why would I get rid of it?
Yeah,
But I'm just saying that was another thing I wrote down in my notes is how I felt cheated being a Wii U owner and like how do I know this isn't gonna happen again if it's not selling as well as they want? How do I know they're not just gonna throw it in the trash and move on to something different and leave you in the dark?
right.
And
I think they can't they have to do like they have to show themselves with the Switch because of the Wii U and because of what they did with the Wii U.
Yeah,
Like they can't go back and do that again,
I think
or else
today.
they're gonna lose all their fan base.
Yeah, I think today for me seeing like the stuff
I'm
on the
not a
stream that I
Nintendo fan
saw,
anymore.
you'd say you're not a Nintendo fan anymore?
No.
Oh, man.
Well,
But I was mad at Nintendo months ago.
I feel you.
Whenever they deleted my Mario Maker levels and whenever
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was really upset. Like that really upset me.
Right.
My Mario Maker levels, they were really good, thought-provoking levels.
Right.
They're gone.
So
They're
they
all, you
pretty
know, like,
much.
oh,
So
that's a
Nintendo for
priority.
you has pretty much been on like a.
It's more a nostalgia thing.
This
for
is
me,
like like they've been getting strikes.
Yeah, I remember. To me, Nintendo's like, oh, I remember whenever I used to like them. Yeah, that's great. I love the GameCube. GameCube's one of my favorite consoles. I collect for the GameCube.
Yeah.
I love the GameCube.
GameCube
You know,
is
the Super
fantastic.
Nintendo is amazing. Love the Super Nintendo. Love the regular Nintendo. Love their handhelds. Game Boy Advance, love it. All of those handheld consoles, love it. You know, but just recently they've not been doing anything that I've been super interested in. I got, you know, sure the Wii has some good games, but I got tired of the whole motion control thing pretty quick, and I think a lot of other people did too. But
Sure.
you know, the Wii U, you don't have to play it with the motion controls, and I understand that you don't have to play with the motion controls on this one too.
Right.
But it's just it leaves a
out for
bad
you.
taste in your mouth.
yeah.
To me, it leaves a bad taste in my
think
mouth.
I'm definitely not mad at Nintendo. I'm very disappointed. I think they just promoted their brand new console in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Not the worst way, but in just a totally wrong way, because they could have went Xbox thing and talked about that DRM, and that really screwed over fans. But they just didn't present it in the way that it should have for a brand new console, for redoing what you didn't like about the Wii U.
And
You just didn't sell a lot of people, and I was one of those people.
yeah, and
Okay.
that was my other thing I mentioned was, like, to me it felt like they're having like secrecy to keep people in the dark, so that they can generate like hype from people talking and speculating and all this, and you know, to me it seemed like a little bit of a business idea for them to be not answering questions and leaving
See,
you with more questions.
See where you feel that way. I feel like it was necessary for them to do that because just in today's day and age, everything gets leaked.
Yeah.
So if they were to come out and confirm, like, there's no, like, when you watch one of those events, you want to be surprised, you want to be intrigued. If you come out and confirm certain things, you're losing that. Which for some people that might be all right, but it's like, remember, as a developer, you have to have some sort of hype. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, there is initial hype because it's Nintendo and they're actually coming out with something new, which I don't even think the hype was that high until we saw the Switch, the first commercial. But it's like, you have to have something, or else, I mean, you're gonna get no traction. You're not gonna get any sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
think that.
I said I'm
don't
not a
think they
Nintendo
were
fan
trying
anymore. To me, a Nintendo fan would be somebody that goes out and buys Nintendo just because they have faith in Nintendo. They're like, okay, it's Nintendo, it's gonna be good. But I'm not one of those people anymore. Like, I'm very, very skeptical.
Really has a lot of faith in Nintendo blindly. Nintendo really, what Nintendo does, what Nintendo has to do every time they're at a press conference or every time they have anything like that, is they really got to prove themselves, or at least in my book.
Yeah, because they've soured a lot of people's. I mean,
Yeah,
the Wii U.
crap on the floor
When
for
you
me.
look at it, the Wii U was a failure. Like, for Nintendo standards,
paper,
the
absolutely.
Wii U was a failure. The
Even
Wii
though it had
sold
good
over
aspects
100
to it,
million consoles. The Xbox One hasn't sold 100 million consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an all-time, like, great in terms of consoles. That may be the top selling. I mean, I know the 64 sold a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
More people wanted the NES Classic than they did the Wii U.
Yeah, it's
And
like
that's saying something.
exactly. Well, that also just speaks to how good the NES was.
Right.
I think for me, it's interesting seeing some of the games that I saw on the stream today and seeing some of the stuff from last night, because it's like Nintendo is kind of a hybrid at this point, which obviously with the Switch, I mean, it is legit hybrid. But in terms of their games, yes, PlayStation and Xbox have like games that are like side scrollers and different games like that, more indie stuff, but Nintendo, it's like that kind of stuff is accepted by pretty much all of the fans. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
there's
Like,
a large
even PC gamers
yeah,
like Nintendo.
yeah, like there's a large contingent of Xbox and PlayStation players that if they see, what you call it, say an indie game. I mean, obviously, No Man's Sky was an indie game, but it was more, it was a big
hyped
indie
like a
game. So
AAA.
what? Yeah, so I can't really talk about that. But like games like Firewatch, or games like what you call it, Hyper Light Drifter.
Hyperlight, yeah.
Those games aren't gonna, like, those games on a Nintendo console would be lauded. Like, on PlayStation and Xbox, there's a large contingent of fans, and I'm talking about, not that there's anything wrong with these people, but the typical like Call of Duty type people who just play shooters and just like don't have really any appreciation for any other kind of game. Like, oh, that's
Aesthetic or
stupid.
story.
There's a lot of people who play consoles who have that mindset, whether they're
No,
kids or
absolutely.
adults. Like, and I think Nintendo appeals to. I don't know. I think Nintendo appeals to a greater amount of people. I think this console needs to do well. Like, Nintendo needed to announce
No,
the
they
types
don't
of
have-
games
they
that
don't
they
have
did
a
last
choice.
night. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have to do
they
well
don't
or they're
have a-
done.
They have to.
Like,
They have to.
they can't switch
Or
over
else it
to
very well could be their last console.
exactly. They can't switch over to
It
making
could be.
mobile games. Like, nobody, mobile gaming.
Well, they
like
would
a lot of
only
people
get,
play.
They would only get a Japanese market.
Yeah, like mobile games. Like, I used to play mobile games nonstop. Like, I used to play a lot of games on my phone. I guess it's still a big industry, but mobile gaming, I feel like, is dying. Like,
And
or
I feel like
in
West
terms
Coast
of
gaming.
in terms
the
of like
West,
phones
too.
and stuff like that. Yeah, in the West, like, people aren't playing Candy Crush anymore. People aren't playing Words with Friends, unless you're old.
To me, that's not gaming. That's just playing a game.
Yeah, it's like Super Mario Run was huge. Like, it was the most
When it
downloaded
dropped,
app
yeah.
of last year, and it came out in December, if I'm not mistaken.
In December, yeah.
So that's
And right next to
huge.
that was Pokemon Go, another Nintendo title. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, they could be successful in that, but they can't hang their hat on it. That's not Nintendo. So,
They can't hang their hat on mobile and nostalgia, even though that was the biggest things that got them money that last year.
Yeah, so you have to
It
like,
was.
they have to do well with the Switch, um, which I guess is a decent segue. Um, which brings me to what are predictions? Whoever wants to go first, I'm gonna round it out. But what are
Uh,
your predictions for the Switch? So okay,
Go ahead,
maybe
Doug.
we'll divide it up.
Okay.
Will it be successful, and
Maybe
Switch.
why?
relatively. I don't think they're going to get the demographic they're wanting.
Which is like our age type
An
people.
older. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the people that already love Nintendo and know Nintendo. I don't think they're going to change the game too much with that.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's hard for me to. How many people need that mobile aspect? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't use it, but to some people that could be a huge selling point.
Right. Okay.
I
Dave?
think
I think
Or
it
go ahead.
definitely. I
Please
think
keep
it will
going.
definitely be better selling than the Wii U.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's
But-
any question. I mean, like it could undersell, but I
I do
really
think that
don't
they've-
think it will.
They've focused on correcting a lot of problems, but at the same time, there are still some problems, and even some of the same ones. But we had already talked about that. What I felt were the problems and everything.
Yeah.
I do feel like a lot of people are gonna buy it. It's gonna be much better than the Wii U, but not nearly as good as the Wii, selling wise. It's not gonna sell
the
as much
Wii
as the
was
Wii.
like
It's not gonna sell.
100 million, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
It's not gonna be there. I mean,
we changed
I don't
it,
think
you know.
unless they do something, unless they basically look at a PS4 and do it in a Nintendo way. I don't think they're going to be able to be on that level. They're going to be their own thing. So
yeah,
it's hard to compare it to their competitors, really.
yeah. And I
Hard to
think it's
compare it to the
probably
predecessors.
yeah. I think it's safe to like say if I was a stockholder, like I wouldn't put money on, or like it wouldn't be a safe bet to put on the Switch selling an all-time number. It's possible, but I feel like the chances are slimmer than they are like probable. Because like I'm pretty sure the PS2 was the highest selling console of all time. Like it sold,
PS2, yeah, it was.
it sold an astronomical amount of numbers, like or consoles. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wii U I'm pretty sure the Wii U sold 100 million. I'm gonna check that. But if they sold 100 million, that's incredible. I could be completely overclocking, but not Wii U, but
Yeah.
Wii sales. Because the Wii U sold, crap. It's either 30. Wait, maybe it was 30 million, or it was 3 million. I think it was 30.
Micah.
It is. I know it has a 3 in it, and I know the 3 starts
How many?
the number.
I don't know how many zeros.
Yeah. Okay. So the Wii, as of March 31st, 2015, the Wii had sold 101.52 million consoles.
Uh-huh.
That's incredible to me. As for PS2, the PS2, as of 2012, March 31st, had sold over 155 million. I'm pretty sure they broke the 200 mark.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Probably
yeah.
good.
So, Dice, what do you think? Will it be successful?
I think the Switch, regardless of if it has to be or not, I think will be a successful console. And I think it's going to be based off their library of games that they have that's exclusive to them, plus the library of games that won't be that popular to the other consoles that'll be multi-platform.
Okay.
So games, so like indie games that you would see, that you would see usually like on a Sony press conference or a Microsoft press conference that kind of get swept over the big AAA titles. Those I think are going to land big on the NX.
Uh-huh.
I also think their exclusive titles, their Marios, their Donkey Kongs, their Links, their Mario Karts, their Smash Brothers, that's going to be another selling point for the NX. Is it going to be as good as the PS4 or Xbox One? I don't know. But I think this is a really good start for them. I just think that the way that they presented it for the very first time was below average.
Yeah.
They didn't present it in the way that a console should. But I still think it's gonna be a successful console within the next year.
Oh, within the next year.
Next year or 2 years. Because, I mean, if they're launching as many titles as you think they are, or as much as people say that they are, as well as the launch titles, well, not the launch titles, but the titles that are coming out this year that they said about in their conference last night, it's gonna sell. People are ready to play a new Zelda game. People are ready to see what this Mario game is about. People are ready for another Splatoon,
True.
So it'll sell well. I don't know if it'll sell well this year, but in the next 1 to 2 years, its sales will go up higher than the Wii U for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it'll go as high as the Wii though.
Yeah.
Because the Wii changed gaming all the way around.
Yeah, the Wii was pretty. I don't know if it was revolutionary, but it was big. Like,
it wasn't revolutionary, but it did something that nobody else was doing.
It was in the majority of the homes that had at least one gaming console.
Yeah.
I feel like
it really opened up what a family console was.
Yeah, it was like the pinnacle of family console. It actually got you up moving. Like, my stepmom, like, she actually did like they had like the Wii Fit board.
Yeah,
she actually
my
like
whole
used
family
it.
Used that.
Like,
yeah.
So that was pretty cool, like, for a game console to do that. So I mean, I guess you could say in a sense it's kind of innovative.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just got kind of played out after a while. It got dated pretty quickly, I feel like.
Yeah, it got dated really quickly.
Especially if it would have been HD, it wouldn't have been dated that quickly.
I think motion controls. I think virtual reality is just the new motion controls. Like, it's gonna die faster than you think. But that's just my theory.
See, VR is a whole different topic, but I would disagree.
Yeah.
I feel like VR is here to stay, whether it's in gaming or in like other avenues. But time will tell on that. But okay, so for me, I think the Switch will be successful. I mean, I'm hoping that it's successful. I mean, for me, I kind of just like, I'm gonna get it. So like, I mean, if it's not successful, as long as it's like, as long as it caters to me and what I want, then I like, and what I've expected, or what I expect after seeing these trailers and seeing these games, then I'll be happy. So,
cool.
I think sales-wise, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna bust out of the gate like PS4 did.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
But I do think that, I don't know, you may see more Switch, or I don't know, you could, I feel like there's a possibility of seeing more Switches than base Xbox Ones sold in 2017. Possibly.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I think it'll be close.
It's just hard to tell right now.
Because I'm still not sold that a lot of people are going to get the Scorpio. Like, there's a lot of PlayStation owners that aren't getting the PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
They say the Scorpio is going to be... I mean, again, this is kind of another conversation. They say the Scorpio is going to be the most powerful game console ever, but what are you going to play on it when you keep canceling exclusives? Like, what's going to draw people? It's like, oh, it's 4K? Oh, well, I can go play it on PlayStation, and they make a better console.
Scorpio did the opposite of what the Switch did. They gave us the specs, they didn't show any games.
Yeah. That's legitimate. Like that. That's it. Um,
Yeah,
it's kind of
not enough for me to buy it, man.
no. It's like it's kind of ridiculous to be honest. And I
Hmm.
mean, as somebody who is a PlayStation fanboy, I mean, obviously I'm a gamer, but it's like I don't really care how the Xbox does. To be honest, it's like
Yeah,
for me to be like, oh, well, if they're not doing well, gaming's not doing well. That's a lie. Because I mean, like,
that's a freaking lie.
because I feel like there's a lot more people on Xbox that are those people I mentioned earlier, shooter heavy.
Shooters.
Like maybe that's just a stigma because we're like PlayStation players and we just look at them that way. Um,
Maybe the Xbox One, man. To be honest,
it's like
they
what do
have
they
when you look at
have?
their exclusives. When you look at their exclusives, they are only shooter heavy, and there's only one exclusive that I wanted on Xbox One.
Which is
That was Sunset Overdrive.
yeah, which was a lot of people loved that game.
Yeah,
But
and that
like
was a shooter, sort of.
when you look at the exclusives PlayStation has had, there's people
They're
who own Xboxes who are getting PlayStations to play
they're all over the
PlayStation
place, bro.
exclusives. Like nobody is
Kingdom,
really
I don't.
getting an Xbox to play one exclusive. Scalebound just got canceled. That game was supposed to be great for them,
Yeah,
and I didn't even
bro.
think it looked that great.
They got RPG. PlayStation got RPG. They got shooters. They got their adventure games. Don't even get me started on Naughty Dog's calendar that they're gonna do. God of War 4 is coming out. Well, not 4,
Like,
but I
let
don't
me
really
know
know.
when Uncharted comes to Xbox.
Holler
Like,
at me when there's a game that can keep up to Uncharted
right?
from
It's
Xbox.
like I feel like they're
I'm not
close,
trying to be.
right? But it's
Xbox.
like it's kind of hard not to be because it's like people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Xbox is so much better." I mean, and I feel like the
Be
PC
sure.
people are just kind of like laughing. They're just like, "Well, you guys both suck."
Yeah,
But
PC is like whatever.
but also, I mean, I could make my gripes towards PC. I mean, they get a lot of bad ports.
They get hackers too.
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't have to worry about that. I mean, granted, people hack the PlayStation Network like twice a year, but
People,
I mean,
well, people hack servers that are like not in like full effect. Like when there's a new Call of Duty, the old one's going to be real hackers,
yeah, for sure.
and which is whatever. But like when it comes to PC gaming, it's just I never got into it because I never wanted to, I guess, commit the time to get a gaming PC
Yeah.
and to maintain one.
For sure.
And also,
There's so
I
much you have
just
to
never.
upgrade. It's just so much
Yeah.
cheaper to have a console.
I'd rather just get a console, have it for a certain amount of years, and then just get the next console.
Yeah. So like, I may end up getting a PlayStation 4 Pro, but I mean, probably not because I'm going to get the Switch. So it's like
Right.
I'm not going to buy two consoles in a year unless I get a come up on a job and I end up making salary somewhere. And I still
Unless
probably won't even
E3
do it.
really shows me something incredible about the Pro that the PS4 can't, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get it.
Right. And they've already said that it's not such a significant upgrade that you have to get a PS4 Pro. Or like
Yeah.
we're not going to be obsolete. So until that happens, then I'm sure Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to look amazing on the Pro and it's going to look fantastic on the PS4.
Yeah, I bet all the games by like AAA titles that use those high res, engines like Square, like Rockstar, even like Naughty Dog. It's just gonna look better on the Pro, but not enough for me to buy a Pro.
Yeah. I agree. Sorry, I'm fighting a guy in the street.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, so Peacemaker, I have a question
What's up?
for you. What does Nintendo have to do if there's anything that they can do to earn your trust again?
Make good games and a good console that I can play without feeling like it's a gimmick.
So you
And,
so you don't think
and
they can
keep
win you back
supporting
in the
that.
Switch era?
They could, but I mean, I'm just not happy with them right now.
I understand. Oh, and you
And
were saying you want them to continue to support the Wii U.
yeah, continue to support the console that people invest in. That's really the main thing.
For sure. Um, I agree. I mean, if they, I don't know, they're gonna definitely catch the wrath if they don't support the Wii U for at least like another. I don't know. I feel my gut feeling is that maybe they're gonna give it like 6 to 8 months to continue to support the Wii U, and they're just gonna move on. That's
I
my
feel like
gut
they've already
feeling.
moved on.
Like, I don't see them like continuing to support it for that much longer. I think because of how big of a failure it was financially for them, they want to move
Yeah,
on
I
from
think
it.
they really want to dump it. Unlike,
Which I can't blame them, but I mean that does leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths
well, it
because
leaves an
there's a
empty hole in a lot of people's like
hearts.
library too. Yeah,
I was trying to be
hearts,
poetic with it,
library,
you know.
whatever. Yeah,
Um,
I know.
yeah, dude. So it'll be interesting to see what Nintendo does. I'm really looking forward to the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
That game looks fantastic. They showed more gameplay today, and I was like,
dude, was there
this
voice
game is
acting
dope.
in that trailer though?
I'm pretty sure.
That is, I don't know if I'm about that. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna nitpick. I'm not gonna
um,
nitpick.
but also, like, I'm looking forward to that Mario game. I haven't played a Mario game in ages.
Mario Odyssey, that looks like,
It
bro.
looks so good.
It looks good. It
I
really
was
does.
when they said because I'd heard rumors that it was going to be a launch title. If they would have come out with that as a launch title and Zelda,
In Zelda, bruh,
bro, like
bruh.
I would guarantee that they would outsell Xbox like base model Xboxes for this year
Yeah, for sure.
because those games alone could carry it. Because you got, I
Yep.
mean, most Nintendo fans like both, but I mean, I'm sure there's some that like one and not really the other. So you would get all of them.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I've played more Zelda games than I've had Mario games, but I do like would probably if I was so like hyped about the Switch on the level that you are, I would get both
yeah,
within the same amount of time.
for sure.
But
I think
um,
I don't know those games. I mean, we really haven't talked much about the games that they showed, but I mean, we
yeah,
talked a little bit about Arms. After seeing gameplay today, I was like, that game, yeah, it
That's the
looks
dumbest
legit.
looking game I've ever seen.
See, at first when I saw the trailer, I was like, or when before they showed the game, I was like, what the hell is this? And then like they
uh-huh.
showed it, and I was like, for whatever reason, it grew on me. I was like, this actually looks pretty fun. Like,
I don't know when I saw it. I probably because I had a bad taste of that first game
uh-huh.
in my mouth. I
Right,
saw
because they
that
showed
and I
it
was like,
back
oh,
to
this
back.
is yeah, this is what a Switch game should look like a launch title Switch
Yeah.
game should look like this.
And
And
they went through the
like,
mechanics
I like
today on the stream and everything, and I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. They announced a new IP today, which had like the
really.
dumbest name, and it looked really childish, and I was like, okay, this looks like
Is it
typical
Arms?
Nintendo. I didn't no, which I talked to I talked to Dice about it,
I
and I
didn't
was
have a
like,
good.
I didn't like that
Didn't have a
name.
good.
Yeah,
It's so
that name got
basic.
me too. I was like, what is this called? Arms? It's like a lowercase
Legs?
a too, isn't it?
I legit like laughed out loud when I saw that it was named Arms.
I just saw the gameplay. I was like, that's what a launch title Switch game should be. I don't know
Yeah,
what that was.
it's like exactly. But it's like when I saw the gameplay
What
today, I
the
was like,
Cowboys are doing.
or pardon me, that other game. It was
The other
like
IP?
clip snippets or something like that, and it looked really dumb at first until they started playing it. I was like, this game is amazing. What in the like? I didn't like the art style, and I was like,
Yo, that's
this game looks dope.
That's the problem with Nintendo, bro. Their trailers or launch trailers that they do at E3, bro.
Well, see, they didn't even have a
they're
trailer for this
too.
game. They just started playing it on the stream. They said they
Oh,
were announcing
really?
a new IP, and then they opened it
Well,
up
even their
with
launch
gameplay.
trailers that they have at conferences, at press conferences, or whatever you want to call them, like they're always just they
Besides,
grab your attention in the worst way.
yeah, besides the 1-2 Switch ad, I think they killed
The
it
one
with
just
the trailers last night. To be honest, that's my opinion.
the Mario Odyssey trailer was on point.
The Mario Odyssey trailer was
The
on point. Zelda was amazing.
I want to see
Yeah.
actual gameplay of that before I think I want to play that Mario Odyssey game. I mean, I know it's Mario. It's probably going to be good, but like all I saw was him running around and like
What
almost
got
doing
me
nothing.
was
Well, it doesn't even come out until the holiday season, so I think we probably won't even see anything on it until E3 at least.
yeah, we won't
Maybe
see it until-
Gamescom.
That's
So
fine.
we've got a while. What were you saying, Dice?
What I think the game. I mean, they showed some gameplay, and the big mechanic is he can throw his hat and step on it to platform, which I
That
thought
looks
was really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I've heard he can do a lot of stuff with his hat. Like he uses it kind of as a projectile now.
But then it gets on some Minish Cap stuff, and now the hat has eyes and its own personality. I was like, wait a minute now.
See, yeah, I was
Hold
like,
on.
what the hell is this?
Hold
Hey,
on,
I
wait
don't
a
mind.
minute.
It's Mario. It's
Yeah,
supposed to
But
be
as
silly.
long
That's
as
true.
yeah, but as long as like that hat mechanic can like, because every Mario game has their own like thing that makes it different than the last.
Yeah.
And if this one is like he's in like the real world and he's using his hat to platform, it's totally fine.
Right.
So I think that Mario game's gonna look good. All Nintendo has to do, man, to compete with these other consoles, even PC, is they just gotta make good games.
That's
all
what I
they
want
gotta
to see.
do.
That's really all it is.
Let me see some good games.
Like
And let me see
memorable
some
games.
Continued support.
Yeah.
They don't even have to have
They
cult
got-
followings. They just have to be good. Like
They don't know. They don't need cult followings. They don't even need to like promote their AAA developers that much, because people
it'll
are gonna
speak
make
for
a
itself.
preference.
Like
Yeah, it'll speak. Absolutely, it'll speak for itself. So you just need to stay in your studio and work on the best Mario games, the best Kid Icarus games, the best Donkey Kong, the best Zelda games, the best Mario Kart. You got to work in your market, and you got to sell the heck out of those games, or else you're gonna turn your Switch into another Wii U. And if that happens, bro, Nintendo,
It's
you're
gonna
out.
make a lot of people mad.
exactly.
You're gonna be
Because
out.
if they
You're gonna-
make-
you're gonna
Because this
go ahead.
there is a lot more hype going into the Switch than there was in the Wii U. So
Oh, yeah.
if they fail to deliver, which it doesn't look like they're going to fail to deliver. I mean, it looks pretty solid as far as library so far, especially like the stuff they're going to have in the Virtual Console. Like, I feel like it's looking really promising. Like they would have to make a lot of
Yeah.
missteps to f this up. But I mean, you never know. I'm really hoping they have, or that they do a good job. And I think it's
I think
good for
they- I
gaming when
hope
Nintendo is doing well.
That's for
I
sure.
want Nintendo to
'Cause
do well,
I mean,
but
if they
I'm just so
I
cranky
mean-
about them.
Say it
if
again.
they fail, if this console, if this console fails, bro, they're just gonna rely on handheld and nostalgia, because
Yeah.
that's what sells for them right now. And I can't believe that Nintendo's gonna take that role. I mean, they can and make money off of it, but
Yeah.
when they're the lesser of the three top, consoles. I don't know. Only time will tell with the Switch. That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
It's going to be interesting. I'm extremely excited for Sonic whenever it comes out. I also know that it's coming out on
Isn't
PlayStation
that also
though.
coming on? Yeah, I would rather play it on PlayStation.
But I think for me, like, I could, like, I don't know, because I played Sonic originally on the Sega, so the closest thing to that I have right now is a Nintendo console. So it could feel pretty nice to play it on Nintendo. I mean, I'm fully prepared to buy it on PlayStation.
What do you think the price differences are going to be for multi-platform games? Because Wii was always cheaper than PS3.
I think they're probably going to go full price, to be honest. Which I'm not happy about.
Right.
And
I'm
like
not happy about it either.
Like I said, their cartridges. Granted, I mean that's just another way to like store stuff. I mean, there's SD cards that cost like $80.
Yeah. I mean, they got $200 SD cards that are 2 terabytes, and you just keep that forever.
Yeah, and they're a lot more stable because they're solid state, and it's not like you don't have to worry about them getting scratched or anything. So you could argue that it's better to have those than a disc. But I think
they didn't even talk about that in their conference.
Yeah, see, and we talked about that earlier.
But anyway, we talked about that.
Yeah, and I knew that they were going cartridges because I saw some leaked like Switch cases, and even they showed one on the stream today.
Yeah.
And they have like little slots for the cartridges, like in the case. Cool. But they even showed the Zelda like case, but they never showed a cartridge. So like there are definitely some missteps. Like they could have done better.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, as far as the conference is, it's just a step back from any type of reveal conference. It's a step back from PSX.
It was a little cheesy.
Any E3 that I've seen. No, even their digital conference that they had with the Wii U, where they announced Brawl for the first, or not Brawl, but the new Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
On the Wii U for the first time. Even that was better.
Yeah.
Because at least I knew what I was getting into, and at least they displayed the things that they needed to display. Here, you got something brand new. But I digress. I'm not bashing the Switch at all. I'm bashing the conference. I think the Switch is going to be good. The conference was awful.
Okay. Yeah, okay. See, like when I told you, oh, dude, you got to watch this thing. It was more like to see the content that was in it. Now that I realize it, I kind of made it seem like the conference, like the press conference, was amazing.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you?"
Okay, yeah, I'm now realizing how ridiculous that sounds.
45 minutes in, I was like, "This is what he wanted me to see. This is one of the worst conferences that I've seen."
I was just I was hyped about the content because I was like,
"Yeah,
I'm actually intrigued by this."
Yeah. But I mean, like that's all I got.
Indeed. Peacemaker, you got anything else to say about the Switch?
I gotta say I'm skeptical, but that's just how I am as a gamer. I mean, I didn't even buy my PS4 until, 2 years after it came out. I just got this like a little over a year, almost a year and a half ago, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think
even consoles, I know I'm gonna love and I'm gonna have a great time with, like the PS4. I'm still like, oh, I'm gonna wait until there's some good games. I need it to be cheaper. Like, I need them to deliver their end of the deal, and I'll be there on my end of the deal.
For sure.
But I'm afraid, because why shouldn't I be afraid that there's gonna be another instance like the Wii U again? Where you get the thing and 6 months later they announce that they're done making games for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I definitely get the frustration on that, and I definitely see why you'd be skeptical about the.
Yeah, it's kind of like if PlayStation, like, obviously the Pro is like an optional thing.
Yeah.
Like you're fine on the PS4. If they came out next week with a PS5 and said, "Oh, it's got this, and this," it's like so much better. I'd be pretty pissed off.
I'd be livid because that PS4, bro, was promoted heavily.
Yeah.
Everybody was lining up to get one, and it's only been out for not that long. And so
it's only been like 3 or so years.
But if they came up on a press conference and said, "Hey, we're discontinuing the PS4, we're not making any more. Stay tuned. We have a new console coming out within the next couple months." Boom, PS5. I'd be pissed.
Yeah, why don't you try to buy that instead? Maybe you like that one.
Exactly.
So I get the frustration.
The salt.
Yeah,
dude.
Every Wii owner, like I definitely get it. Wii U owner, I definitely get it. So, but I do think the NX is their saving grace. It's either their saving grace or their Achilles heel, bro.
Yeah, which I think I would say I would bet more on saving grace. I think it's really going to help them a lot.
Yeah.
Especially the public perception is going to get way better, I feel like. Not that they had like a terrible public perception, but it's like it used to be much better than what it is now.
Yeah,
or what it is
really
before last night. So
For sure. But that's all I got.
Yeah, dude. Well, once again, guys, this has been Are You Sold on Switch? Been a pretty lengthy discussion between myself, Mike Dub, and the guys from Movie Mercs, Dice, and Peacemaker. Go ahead, subscribe to their YouTube channel, type in Movie Mercs, MOVIE, space MERCS on YouTube. They've got a lot of good content over there about film and different things like that. So go ahead and check their channel out. Also, don't forget to hit me up on YouTube. Search for Mike Dub TV, MICDUB space TV, not space TV, but you type a space. You get it. Once again, thanks guys for joining us here on the stream. You watched me screw around on GTA. It really wasn't that exciting. I'm probably about to get killed by the cops. But
I played Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm probably going to jump on Overwatch. We might be streaming later on tonight. But yeah, thank you guys again for joining me. I'll talk to you guys later, and God bless.
Take care.
Bye.